welcome to another episode of Tutorials with Ike. My name is Isaac Osafo Jr., the Vice President for the Association of Business Administration Students and an aspirant for SLC President next year, hopefully. So if you're a student at UPSA, next year your vote will be appreciated when I'm aspiring for SLC President. Alright, now today we're going to look at managerial economics, and this is the first video I'm doing on it. So today we're going to be looking at week 1 and 2. For week 1, we didn't really do much. It was just a foundation. So we're going to focus more on week 2, where it talks under demand and supply analysis. For demand and supply analysis, I think this will be the third time I'm doing a video on it, because we've done a video on it under quantitative methods, and we also did a video for the level 100, which was on economics for business. So someone might ask, why are we doing another video on demand and supply analysis when we've done it before? Well, for managerial economics, there are some things that we are going to look at that we didn't cover in the other videos. You get it? So it's a bit more complex than the ones you've done in economics for business and quantitative methods. But of course, it's the same idea. So we are going to look at all the terms under it. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, comment, and share. And let's get right to today's video. All right, so demand and supply under managerial economics. So we already know what demand and supply is from economics for business and quantitative methods. You get it? But this is under managerial economics. Managerial economics is some schools, they call it economics for managers. You get it? So now you're going to look at it from the manager's point of view. And as managers, it is very important to understand how demand and supply works. Do you get it? Because for most organizations or most businesses, their main aim or their main objective is to maximize profit or to make profit. Do you get it? And you cannot make profit if you don't know if your demand is increasing or is decreasing. Do you get it? You have to understand how the demand works before you be able to make more profit. You get it? So for demand and supply analysis, let's start with demand first before we even go to supply. So now when we say demand, it means the quantity that consumers are willing to buy at a certain price. Do you get it? So let's assume a company like Cowbell wants to know their demand. If people are willing to buy, let's say, 50 products at this particular price, that is the quantity demanded. So the quantity that consumers are willing to buy at a particular price. Do you get it? So now that is all what demand is. And the law of demand says that in economics, that the higher the price of the commodity, the lower the quantity demanded, and vice versa. So what does that mean? It means that if I go to a market, right, and let's say the price of something is high or is very, very high, the likelihood of me buying it is low. You get it? If I want to buy something and I know that in my mind is 5 cedis, I go to the market, it's now 7 cedis. Only few people will buy. Do you get it? So all what you are trying to say is that when the price is high, people don't like to buy a lot. But when the price is lower, people like to buy more. Do you get it? People like cheap things. So that's about the law of demand. So they could ask you the law of demand. It simply says that the higher the price of the commodity, the lower the quantity demanded. And the lower the price of the commodity, the higher the quantity demanded. Do you get it? And put this in your mind too. Quantity demanded and demand are different. Do you get it? Now, when we say quantity demanded, we talk about how price affects demand. Do you get it? Or when there's a change in price, how many people are still willing to buy? Are people going to buy more when the price increases, or they're going to buy less when the price increases? You get it? That's about quantity demand. But when it comes to demand alone, if you don't see quantity demanded, then we are talking about the other factors apart from price. So you have to know this. When you see quantity demanded, you are talking about how price affects the demand. You get it? But when you see only demand, then we usually talk about the other factors, which we'll look at very soon. Now, we also have the demand curve. Do you get it? So now, for the demand curve, I'm going to take a question and I'll use it to explain how the demand curve works. You get it? So now, the question says that the flight of Starbow Company have a capacity of 100 people per flight. When the cost of tickets from Accra to Kumasi, into brackets one way, was 200 cedis, 50 tickets were sold. When the price was increased to 250 cedis, only 40 of the tickets for the flight to Kumasi was purchased per trip. So now let's understand the question. The question says that the flight of Starbow Company Limited, so it can be any airline, whether Emirates or whatever, they have a capacity of 100 people per flight. You get it? So in the plane, there are 100 people that can board the plane. And they said when the cost of the ticket from Accra to Kumasi was 200 cedis. So now we have the price, right, and the quantity demanded. So they are saying that when the cost or the price of the ticket from Accra to Kumasi was 200 cedis. So when the price of the ticket was 200 cedis, 50 tickets were sold. So the demand was 50. The number of tickets that people demanded were 50. So when the price of the ticket was 200 cedis, 50 people bought the ticket. Do you get it? Then they said when the price was increased to 250 cedis. So now it's no more 200, it has been increased to 250 cedis. 40 of the tickets were sold per trip. So this satisfies the law of demand. Why? Because when the price, or the higher the price, as it moves from 200 to 250, when the quantity demanded reduced, do you get it? When the price went higher, less people were buying. And of course, if you are going from, let's say, from here to London and they tell you that it's 10,000 cedis, and that time you go and they tell you that it's 30,000 cedis, you might not want to board it, right? Because it's more expensive. So when people realize that the price increased from 200 to 250, what's happened? The demand reduced. Do you get it? And they can tell you to draw the graph for this. Do you get it? This is the information they've given to you. Now, anytime you want to draw the graph for it, before you even draw the graph, they can even ask you that, now you know that when the price was 200, the quantity demanded was 50. When the price was 250, the quantity demanded was 40. So what have you noticed? You notice that when there's an increase in price, the quantity demanded falls. But now you don't know the rates at which it falls. Okay, so they can ask you that when the price increases again from 250 to 350, what will be the quantity demanded? Do you get it? Now we know that when the price increases, quantity demanded will fall, but at what rate? So assuming that they ask you that when price increases by any amount, what will be the quantity demanded? We use what we call the linear demand function. Do you get it? So for this particular course, you're only going to be looking at the linear one. And the function is, or the equation is, the quantity demanded is equal to alpha plus beta times the price. What does this remind you of? It reminds you of the simple linear equation. We looked at it under quantitative methods, you get it? So we had something like y is equal to mx plus c. It's the same linear equation, but this time we are just replacing it with alpha and beta. You can also make it mx plus c. Do you get it? So now the alpha is what we call the intercepts. The beta is what we call the slope. So this and this, they are not any different. The only thing is that now the c has come here. So the alpha has come here. And the mx is just at this side. You get it? So it's like saying c plus mx. So now this is the normal linear demand function. Do you get it? So we have the quantity demanded to be equal to alpha plus beta times price. The alpha is the same as the intercept, and the beta is the same as the slope or gradient. You get it? So always the slope or gradient has to be attached to something. The one that is attached to the price is the slope or the gradient, if you don't want to forget it. So now you know that you have BP. So the P is the price. So whatever is attached to the price is your slope or your gradient. Then the one that is standing alone is your alpha. So for mx plus c, the one that is standing alone, which is c, is your intercept. Then the m, the one that's attached to the x, is your gradient. So now that we know this, the first thing we find is our beta, which is the b, which is the same as the slope or the gradient. And we already know that the gradient or our beta or the slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I'm sure you guys remember this from quantitative methods and even business statistics. You get it? So now this is the formula for the beta. You get it? Or the gradient. You get it? So it's the same as the rate of change. So you find the change in both of them, the change in y and the change in x. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now put this in your head. A lot of people make mistakes when it comes to this particular part. Now when you have price and quantity demanded and you are comparing and you want to do the rate of change, always the quantity demanded is the numerator and the price is the denominator. You get it? So now the numerator here is y2. So your quantity demanded will be your y2, then your price will be the x2. You get it? Or your quantity demanded will be your y and the price will be your x. So always the quantity demanded comes at the top, then the price will be at the down. Do you get it? So now for y2 and y1, since now we know that our quantity demanded is always the y, the one that is at the top, we can make this one y2, the second one, which is 40, we can make here y2. Then we can also make the previous one y1. Then since here is y2, it has to correspond to x2. So we know that here is x. So 250, we can make it x2. Then 200, we can make it x1. We already know that always KOD should be y. So put in your head, always KOD should be y. And the price should also be x. Do you get it? So now that we know that, we just make any of them. You can make this one y2 and make this one y1. You get it? But always the KOD has to take the y part and the price has to take the x part. So now if we want to find our beta will be y2, which is 40, minus y1, which is what, 50, over x2 minus x1. Now x2 is what, 250, minus the x1, which is 200. So we can punch this on the calculator. 40 minus 50 over 250 minus 200. We should be getting negative 0.2. Negative 0.2. So now that we've got a negative 0.2, what does that mean? In case they ask you, it means that when price increases by 1 unit, the quantity demanded reduces by negative 0.2. We already know that when the price increases, quantity demanded will reduce, but you don't know the rates. And I told you that the beta is the same as the rate of change. So now it's now telling you how it changes, or the rate at which it changes. So now when you get a negative, it means that when the price increases, we already know that price is increasing from 200, it went to 250. So now when price increases by 1 unit, the quantity demanded reduces by negative 0.2. Now, if it was, let's say, positive 0.2, it means when price increases by 1 unit, quantity demanded increases by 0.2. So when it's negative, it's a decrease. When it's positive, it's an increase. You get it? Now that we've got our negative 0.2, which is our beta. So now we've got our beta. We also have alpha. So you have to find for the alpha as well. Do you get it? And we know that we have 2 points here. We have 250, 250, and 40. You can use any of them to find the alpha. I'll prefer to use 250. You can also use 250 and 40. You get it? So let's assume I want to use 250 to find my value for alpha. I'll just substitute it. Do you get it? So now I already know that I'm using 250. So when price is 200, then the quantity demanded is 50. Quantity demanded is 50. So now that I know that I'm taking these 2 points, when price is 200 and quantity demanded is 50, and when beta is also negative 0.2, you've already found for the beta, you substitute all these three values into this equation to find for alpha. Do you get it? So now we know our QD. Our QD is here 50. So we have 50 is equal to, so our QD is 50, that's what I've written, then it's equal to alpha. It's alpha that we are finding for, that one is unknown, so you write our alpha. Then plus our beta. Our beta is what we just solved for, which is negative 0.2. So I can change this to negative 0.2, right? Then our price. Our price is what? 200. So negative 0.2 times 200. So now we can simplify this further. So we have 50 is equal to alpha. Then we have negative 0.2 times 200. That should give us negative 40. Right? Our objective is to find for alpha. So we can bring the negative 40 to cross the equal to sign to make it positive. So we are getting 50. The negative 40 will cross, so plus 40 is equal to alpha. Then 50 plus 40 is 90. So our alpha is 90. Now that we've got our value for alpha, we just needed a value for alpha and beta so that we can get the equation. We can just substitute it into this. You get it? So now it means that our quantity demanded will be equal to alpha. Our alpha is what we just solved for, which is 90, plus beta. Our beta is negative 0.2. So here will be negative 0.2. Then the price, you don't use any value there. You get it? So you just substitute only the alpha and the beta. You get it? So that any price they give to you, you can now find for the quantity demanded. So now, ladies and gentlemen, this is your demand equation. You get it? For this particular model. So now it becomes very simple. So if they say, assuming the price is 350, what would be the quantity demanded? Just make P 350, then you find the quantity demanded. So assuming they said if the price is 350, so if the price increases from 250 to 350, you just make the P 350. You get it? So our quantity demanded will be equal to 90 minus 0.2. Then anywhere you see P, you put the price they give to you. So into bracket 350. Do you get it? So our quantity demanded will be 90 minus 0.2 times 350. I think that should give you 20, right? So it means when our price is 350, our quantity demanded is 20. If they say when price is 450, just make the P 450. You get it? So after you get to this part, you just be substituting whatever price they give to you. You get it? All right, so now let's go to the demand curve in case you're asked to draw it. So now we have 250, 250, and 40. We can make it 3 points. So you can even draw only this. But in case we want to make it 3 points, so 250, 40. When the price was also 350, so we can add our own points. So when the price was 350, the quantity demanded was 20. So I can also add that one, 20. You get it? So you realize that as the price was increasing, the quantity demanded was also reducing. So if you're asked to draw the demand curve, you draw your y-axis first. Do you get it? Then after you draw your x-axis. This is just like a sketch. You get it? And your y-axis is always your price. Don't forget, your y-axis is always your price. So you can make it P. Then your x-axis is always your quantity demanded. Don't forget, when you are drawing the demand curve, the y-axis is your price, the x-axis is your quantity demanded. So now, let's start. We had 250, right? So the lowest value or the lowest price was 200. So we can bring it low. So when the price was 200, the quantity demanded was 50. 50 was the highest one. You get it? Because that was the cheapest. So quantity demanded was 50. Do you get it? So 250, 250. The point should be somewhere here. It's where you trace both of them. The point should be somewhere here. Then the next one, we had 250. So that would be up. So when the price was 250, the quantity demanded was 40. So 40 is smaller. So it comes somewhere here. 40. So 250 and 40, it will be somewhere here. Right? So when you trace 250 and 40, it will be somewhere here. Then the last one, which is what you just saw, when the price was 350. 350. Then the quantity demanded was 20. You get it? So 22 can be somewhere here. So it's also at this side. So 350 and 20. So when you trace it, it should be somewhere here. Right? So 350 and 20. So you realize that when you draw it, you should be getting something like this. So always the demand curve should be something like this. It slopes like this from the top left to the bottom right. You get it? So it should be something like this. So this is how the demand curve looks like. So I'm just showing you how to draw it in case they give you something like this. Do you get it? So now this is how you draw the demand curve. You get it? But there are other factors that affect demand. You get it? So we say price affects quantity demanded. Then the other factors affect demand. You get it? So price is for quantity demanded, and the other factors are for demand. So now we are going to look at the other factors, and it comes a lot in exam, and we'll be using it to solve other questions in the future. So it's important that we understand it. You get it? So now let me clean the board so that we'll look at the other factors that affect demand and how we are going to solve questions on it when it comes. All right. All right, so now let's look at the other factors that affect demand. Do you get it? So now the first one, which we just spoke about, is the price itself. You get it? So now if you want to check the quantity demanded of X, so the quantity demanded of X, the main thing that is going to determine how much people are going to buy is the price of X. You get it? So the first one is the price of X. So PX, which is the price of X. You get it? So now if the price of X is high, usually more people are not going to buy. So quantity demanded is going to reduce. Do you get it? So now the first thing or the most important thing that affects demand is the price of X. You get it? Now another thing that could affect demand is the price of related products. And when it comes to the price of related products, there are two things we talk about. We talk about substitute and complement. So PY, I'll make it PY, showing that we are not talking about X. So X is a particular product, maybe cowbell, but now we are seeing that the price of another product, maybe any other product, which is Y, could also affect it. So when you see PY, it means you are talking about the price of other related products. So usually when you see PX, it means the price of that particular product in question, but PY, the price of another product. Do you get it? So X, that product, Y, a different product. So as I said, when we talk about the other related products, we usually talk about substitutes and complement. Now let me explain substitutes. What are substitutes? It means that you can substitute them. In other words, you can use one in place of the other. So an example is, let's say, Pepsodent and Colgate. If right now I know I've been using Pepsodent for 2 years now, or for the longest time, and now I go there, I always buy it at 5 cedis. Now I go there, they say it's 20 cedis, but Colgate is still 5 cedis. What will I do? I'll change to Colgate. Do you get it? If also let's now even use a different example. So if it's let's say ideal milk and peak milk. If ideal milk I've been buying it at 10 cedis and now they increase it to 15 cedis and peak milk is still 10 cedis, I'll buy the peak milk. So it shows you that the price of another product can have actually affects your demand for it. So that is it about substitute. So if you can use them in place of each other and one is cheaper than the other, you buy the cheaper one, you get it, and forgo the other one. So it can affect the demand for that product. You get it. Now that's about substitute. Now let's go to complement. What does complement mean? It means that you use them together. So an example is car and fuel. If you are using a car, you're obviously going to use fuel. You get it. So now if let's say fuel is very expensive, what do you think will happen? People will not like to buy cars because it's not water that they are going to put in the car. It's the same fuel. So if fuel is so expensive, people will not like to buy it because so obviously fuel is going to affect the demand for cars. You get it? And vice versa too. If cars are also very expensive, it means that people will not buy cars. If they don't buy cars, they also not buy fuel because the fuel is not there for you to drink or something. It's for you to put in the car or any other machine that you are going to use to fuel it. You get it? So it shows that when it comes to substitutes and complements, the price actually affects them. Do you get it? So that's for the price of other related products. And the next factor that could affect demand is advertisement. If right now I don't know about a product and always I'm seeing the advert, it looks very like persuasive. Yes, they are convincing me. What do you think I'll do? I'll buy the product. They are convincing a lot of people too. A lot of people too buy it. Do you get it? So that's why a lot of companies invest a lot into adverts. They go and pay celebrities to advertise their product and all that. You get it? Because we assume that once the advertisement is persuasive enough, demand will increase. Do you get it? So advertisement could also affect the demand for the product. So the higher the advertisement or the better the advertisement, the more people will buy. Do you get it? So for advertisements, you represent it by AX. So the advertisements of the product, you get it. So we usually term it as advertisements expenditure. You get it. So when you see advertisement expenditure, it's more like advertisements, more like how much you spend on it. And if you are spending more on it, it's assumed that the quality is higher. Do you get it? So that's the next thing that could affect demand, advertisements. Do you get it? And another key factor that could affect demand is income. Do you get it? Income usually represented as M or I, but it's usually M. So disposable income or income is the same thing. Now, don't even worry about the letters because in exam, they'll explain what each letter means. You get it. So you see where PY is the price of other related products, where AX is advertisement and all that. You get it. So you don't need to, chill what the letters mean and all that. So now, and that, as I was saying, another thing that could affect demand is disposable income. Now, when we talk about income and how it affects demand, there are two types of commodities we talk about. We talk about inferior and normal goods. I'll start with normal goods. Now, when we say normal good, it means that when the price of the commodity increase, the quantity demanded increases as well. Do you get it? So when the price goes up, the quantity demanded goes up. Do you get it? So it could be anything, maybe an iPhone. Anything. Once the price goes up, the quantity demanded goes up. But that's for normal good. But when it comes to inferior good, it means that when the price goes up, the quantity demanded falls. You get a difference. So for the normal good, the first one, when the price goes up, so guys, please be writing because I'll use it to explain the demand equation. You get it? So for normal good, when the price goes up, the quantity demanded also goes up. So they have the same relationship or they are positively related. You get it? But for inferior goods, they are negatively related. So for normal goods, when the price goes up, then the quantity demanded for that product also goes up. You get it? So they are positively related. But for inferior goods, when the price goes up, then the quantity demanded goes down. You get it? So that one, they are negatively related. So for inferior goods, you can talk about one common example we always use is Gary because for most people, when they get money, they'll stop taking Gary. If right now Gary is my favorite food, there's a high chance that when I get money, I'll be buying something different, maybe shawarma, pizza, anything. You get it? So now that's for inferior goods. So for lack of a better expression, you can say that inferior goods are goods that usually poor people buy. You get it? That's just to make it easier to understand. Or when your money is less, you buy more. Do you get it? So that's it for income or disposable income. Now we also have taste and preference. So we represent this as T, taste and preference. You get it? And this one is self-explanatory. If you have a high taste for something, If like my taste for fufu is high, I'll buy more fufu. If my taste for gari is high, I'll buy more gari. You get it? If I like shawarma, I'll buy more shawarma. So once the taste is higher, once the person likes this particular product more, to buy the product more. Get it? If they like another product less, they'll buy it less. So that one is quite self-explanatory. So yes, that's it for it. Then there are also other factors that we cannot talk about. So we cannot talk about a lot of things, but the things that take a higher percentage or what people usually consider are what you've written. You get it? So there are other factors. You can even use it because let's say your mom says or your mom forces you to buy this. If your mom says that, oh, she wants to buy you a fridge, it's by force to buy this, you have to buy it. So those are like other factors, but they are not so common. So those factors, you represent them as 0. So other factors. It could be weather conditions. I mean, any other factor apart from this. These are the main ones, but those small ones too, we also have to factor them. You get it? But they are not much. That's why we just represent it as 0. So these are the other factors. So these are all the things that affect demand, literally. So we first have the price of that same commodity, which is the price of X. Then we have the price of other related products, which I spoke about, substitutes and complements, which is the price of Y or PY. Then AX, which is advertisement expenditure. So if people advertise well, people are going to buy more of the product, you get it, and vice versa. We also have the disposable income, or M, and we said that for the income, we talk about 2 types of goods, the normal and inferior good. So we said for inferior goods, when their income reduces, that's when they buy more. Where we spoke about gari, chocho, and all that, you get it. But for normal goods, when the income increases, that's when they buy more. So things like iPhone, a Bugatti, like anything luxury, you get it. Now, the T is the taste and preference, where you say that if you have taste for it or you prefer it, you're going to buy more. Then other factors, which is a 0. So any other thing that is not related to this, you get it. All right, so now since we know all the things that affect demand, you can write the general demand equation. You get it. So now we first start with the other factors. So I said that those factors, we usually hold them constant. You get it. We are saying that a lot of things could affect demand, but those ones is not always. You get it. So we hold them constant. For example, as I was saying, if your mom forces you to buy something, if let's say by mistake you buy something or other ones are not, those are like things, but they don't usually occur. So we assume that those things are not happening yet. We are focusing more on these ones. You get it. So now in writing a demand equation, that one is constant. So that one is the only constant one. So we represent it as alpha 0. You get it. Alpha is just any number. Right now we don't know the number. You get it. So don't be scared when you see the alpha. It can be B0, it can be C0, it can be D0. You get it. But we usually represent it as alpha 0. So when you see alpha 0, it means the other factors, you get it. And that one, we hold them constant. Do you get it? All right. Then the next one we talk about is the price of X. So for the price of X, we represent it, so we add plus alpha 1, then you bring the price of X, P X. You get it? So you are just writing the general demand equation. So everything that affects demand. So you first started with the alpha 0. So once you see, if you want to know what this one represents, you just see once it attached to the 0, then know that you are talking about other factors. Then this one, alpha 1, once you see anything attached to PX, then you know that you are talking about the price of X. So if I see, let's say 2PX, once you see PX, then we are talking about the price of X. You get it? So always in exam, you see something like PX represents the price of X. You get it? So once it's just attached to PX, then we are talking about the price of X. We are adding all of them. You get it? Every single thing here. You get it? All right. So now we know that other factors affect demand. We also know that the price of X or the price of that same commodity also affect demand. Then another thing that also affects demand is the price of related products. You get it? You already spoke about it, which is when we spoke about the substitute and the complement. You remember. So now on to, we bring our plus, then now we make it alpha 2. You get it? Then we bring our PY, alpha 2, then PY. Do you get it? Then we add our alpha 3. Then the next one, AX, which is the advertisement expenditure. So AX. Then we also have disposable income. So we bring our plus again. Then here was alpha 3. So we are increasing the numbers. So alpha 4. Then we had disposable income. That one was M. So we make it M. Then we also have taste and preference and any other thing. So you don't even need to chew these things. I just wanted to use them to explain how to interpret them. You get it? Because in exam, they'll tell you what each of them means. Do you get it? I just wanted to explain how to interpret them. So now for the, let's start with the PX. You get it? So the PX is already for the price of X. So you know that whatever is here is talking about the price of X. And we said that for the law of demand, the higher the price of the commodity, the lower the quantity demanded. It means that they have a negative relationship. If they have a negative relationship, this quantity demanded is positive. That one here cannot be negative. The quantity demanded is always positive. Get it? So you know that if the quantity demanded is positive, the price has to be negative since they have a negative relationship. So always, whatever is attached to the PX should be negative most of the time. So it means her alpha 1, you should get something like -2, -3, -4. If you are getting a positive value attached to the price of X. So you have quantity demanded of X. So you check the price of that same letter X. If it is also positive, then it doesn't satisfy the law of demand. So I think last 2 years or so, there was a question where they gave to them and they asked them if it satisfies the law of demand. And I remember here was positive. Get it? So once you see that here is positive, then it doesn't satisfy the law of demand. Always, if the quantity demanded of X, here is always positive. So if here is positive, always the price of X should be negative, or the value attached to the price of X. So you should get something like -2px, -5px, whatever is attached to px should be negative. All right, so that's just to explain the px. Now watch something. This is where it gets a bit confusing. Now we have our alpha 2. Our alpha 2 is whatever is attached to the price of the other products. There are different products in question. You have the price of X. That's the same thing as the quantity demanded of X. You get it? So price of X and quantity demanded of X, they are the same. But now we have PY, which means a different product. X and Y are always different. So the alpha 2, or the value they give to you, is attached to the price of the other product. And your alpha 2 can either be positive or negative, or it can either be greater than 0 or less than 0. So now if your alpha 2, so as I said, your alpha 2, which is what is attached to the PY, can either be greater than 0 or your alpha 2 is less than 0. So if your alpha 2 is greater than 0, it means it's positive. If your alpha 2 is less than 0, it means it's negative. Now, if your alpha 2 is greater than 0, it means that it is a substitute. If your alpha 2 is also less than 0, it means that it is a complement. So don't forget. So now they've given you the quantity demanded of X. So X can be, let's say, cowbell. If X is cowbell, that means Y is any different product. You get it? But X and Y are always not the same. It means they are two different products. And I'm saying that your alpha 2, you get it? If your alpha 2, which is whatever is attached to the price of the different product, is greater than 0, it means it's a substitute. So let's be a bit practical. If you have, let's say, the quantity demanded of X, let me say X, let me just give you an example. Let's assume that X is cowbell and Y is needle. You get it? So this is just an assumption. So I'm assuming that X is cowbell and Y is needle. And I tell you that the quantity demanded of X, this part is always positive. Here cannot be negative. You get it? Quantity is not negative. So here we already assume that it is positive. So I'm saying that if now we are talking about the PY, if the alpha 2, which means that if the price of the other products is greater than 0, it means that if it is greater than 0, it is increasing, or the higher it is going, get it? If it is less than 0, that means it's decreasing, it's a negative. So if the alpha 2 is greater than 0, or it is increasing, or it's a positive, it means that we know that our alpha 2 is the PY, which I said our Y is needle. So if the other products, the price of the other product is increasing, what will happen to the price of my product or the different product? The quantity demanded for it to increase. I hope no one is confused. Now let's assume you are talking about cowbell and needle. If the price for needle increases, people will stop buying. So it means that it will increase the demand for cowbell because they'll shift from needle to cowbell. I hope you get it. So when the price of the other product is increasing, not the same product, the other product, which is our Y, the quantity demanded for the other one would also increase because people will leave this one since it's increasing and go to the other one, which is our X. You get it? So just put it to your head, always the other product, which is the one attached to PY, once it is positive, it is a substitute. The other one, once it is positive, it is a substitute. But if it is negative, it is a complement. You get it? Now let's also be practical. Let me make X and Y, let's say car and fuel. Car and fuel. And let's explain when the alpha 2 is now negative, or when it's negative, it's the same as it's decreasing. Do you get it? So now let's assume that our alpha 2 is negative. So it means that as the price of y is going down, the quantity demanded of the other product, which is x, is increasing. So now we are using the y to be 4 and the x to be car. So when the y is negative, which is going down, when the fuel price is going down, it means the quantity demanded for the other one will increase. And it's true, because if the price of fuel goes down, more people will buy cars, because now they know that when they buy the car, they don't need to spend a lot of money on fuel. You get it? There are people who have not bought cars yet because they are afraid of buying fuel. You get it? So now it tells you that when the alpha 2 or the other product is negative, then it is a complement. You get it? So that's how you explain. So if you don't want to be confused, you can just chew it. Once the alpha 2 is greater than 0, whatever is attached to the price of the other one is greater than 0, then it's a substitute. Do you get it? And if whatever is attached to the price of the other one is also less than 0 or it is negative, then it's a complement. I hope you understand it. Then we move on to the alpha theory. We're done with the alpha 2. So for the alpha theory, just know that that one is attached to advertisement. In advertisement, we don't have types. You just need to know that once it is positive, it means that the advertisement is high. You get it? So the quantity demanded will increase. Similarly, if the advertisement is negative or the alpha theory is negative, then it means the quantity demanded will reduce, because the higher the advertisement, the more people will buy. Do you get it? So that one is self-explanatory. So now the main things we talk about is the price of Y usually and the income, which is our M. So I'm going to talk about the income. So for the income, which is the disposable income, I tell you that we have two types, the inferior and the normal goods. And I said that for the normal goods, it means that as your income increases, you buy more of it. You get it. So it can be an iPhone, a Lamborghini, anything. Those are normal goods. If it's very, very high, we talk about luxury goods. But then for here, we're only going to talk about the two types. You get it. So as your income increases, you buy more of it. But then if your income reduces and you buy more of it, then it means it's an inferior good. So things like Gary and all that. So now, if your alpha 4 is what's attached to the income. So whatever value is attached to the income, if your alpha 4 is greater than 0 or it is positive, then it is a normal good. But if your alpha 4 is less than 0, then it is an inferior good. I hope you get it. Because if your alpha 4 is greater than 0, it means it's positive or it's high or it's increasing. So if your alpha 4 is attached to the income, you get it. So if your income is increasing, and you said the quantity demanded is increasing, we assume that it's increasing or it's positive. So if your income is increasing and your quantity demanded is increasing, meaning you're buying more as your income is increasing, then we say that it's a normal good. However, if your income, which is the alpha 4, is less than 0 or is decreasing or is a negative, and you're buying more of it, that means your quantity demanded is also increasing, then it's an inferior good. So things like Gary, that's what I explained. You get it? So this is how they set the questions. So they can just give you any value here. So you just have to know. Once here, for example, alpha for this, so you can give you negative 2m. Negative 2m is less than 0, or negative 2 is less than 0. So you know that's an inferior good. So they'll ask you, is it an inferior good? So that's how they set the question. For the substitute and the complement 2, so for alpha 2, they can give you, let's say, your alpha 2 to be negative 2. So you get negative 2 py. Once it's negative 2 is less than 0, then you know it's a complement. So these are some of the things you need to know. So now I think for demand, we are going to end here. Later on, we'll take a question on it. And next week, Gordon, you are going to look at comparative statics. That's when we'll look at demand shifters. This slide talks about demand shifters, but then that's just the basics of it. But the only thing you need to know is that if you have a diagram like this, a demand diagram, demand is always like this. You get it, for a normal good. If it is coming to the left, so you can either have here and here. If it's coming to the left like this, it means there's a decrease in demand. When it's coming to this side, the left. However, if it's going to the right, it means there's an increase. So this means a decrease, and this is an increase. But I wouldn't want to talk a lot about it, because next week we are going to look at this as a full topic. We are going to take questions on this and see when demand actually decreases and when demand increases under comparative statics. So you don't worry about this. We'll talk more about this next week. All right, so we are done with that of demand. Now we are going to look at supply. So it's similar to this one as well, just that there are a bit of some differences. So let me clean the board so that we go through it. All right, so now I'm going to move on to supply, as I said. So supply too, there are also things that affect it. You get it, and just like demand as well. One of the things that affects supply a lot is the price of the commodity. You get it. So represent that as PX, which is the price of the good. You get it. So normally, the higher the price, or from the law of supply, the higher the price, the higher the quantity supplied. Because if the price is high, the producers who want to produce more, so they will make more profit. You get it. But if the price is low, the producers will supply less. So the higher the price of the commodity, the higher the quantity supplied. And the lower the price of the commodity, the lower the quantity supplied. So don't forget this. Another thing that also affects supply is wages or inputs. So let me represent it as inputs such as wages and all that. So any input, you get it. Input means the cost that is incurred in production. And one of them, I mean, the most important cost we look at is the wages. You get it, because wages take a lot of money. You get it. So now, if let's say you're a company, right, and you're incurring more costs, obviously you would not like to produce a lot, because the more cost you make, the less profit you get it. If your cost is high, it means your profit is going to be low. And if your cost is high, the only way you can make more profits is if you increase your price. And if you also increase your price to people will not buy a lot. Why? Because the higher the price of the commodity, the lower the quantity of money. So always when your input is high, or the higher the input, the lower the quantity supplied. They'll produce less because they are not motivated to produce a lot, because now their profit is going down. You get it? So don't forget, anytime you see input prices or wages, you get it? Anything that is, is related to cost, once it goes high, the quantity supply reduces. You get it? And vice versa. Now, the next thing we look at is the price of technologically related goods. So we represent it as PR, which is the price of technologically related goods. Do you get it? Yes, the price of technologically related goods could also affect supply. But if you say technologically related goods, it means that you can use the same technology to produce both of them. So let me give you an example, right? If let's say I have a farm, right, and I can use it to produce two crops, I mean they are technologically related. So if let's say I have a farm, so this is my farm, let's say one plot, and I can use it to produce, let's say, two crops, so rice and maize. It means they are technologically related, because I can use the same thing to produce two different crops. If right now the price of maize increases drastically, what will I do? It means that if the more maize I produce, the more profit I'll make. So now I'll no more produce half of each. I'd rather produce more of maize. Do you get it? So the rice, I'll just produce less, and I'll produce more maize to make profit. So it shows you that the price of another commodity has affected my supply. Do you get it? And on the other hand, if let's say I have joint product, you get it. So if I have, let's say, something like beef, beef is made from cow, you get it. So if let's say the more cow I produce, right, or the more expensive cow is, it means the more I'm going to produce. That means my beef too is also going to increase in supply. I don't know if you get it. So for those ones to be are related when it comes to the joint product as well. So the more this one increases, the other one to increase, or the higher the price of this one, the higher the quantity supply, because you are producing them together. So they go hand in hand. You get it? Then there are other things that could also affect supply. You get it? Apart from these things, maybe weather conditions and many things. So those ones represent them by H as well. So other factors that affects supply. Do you get it? So those can be any other apart from these ones. You get it? Those ones are not really common. That's why we don't list them one by one. So any other thing that can affect supply. All right. So now we know everything that could affect supply. You get it? So now we can derive our supply equation. And for that one too, is dependent. You get it? In exam, they can give you any different one, but you just have to like know the general one. And you don't need to memorize it as well, because they'll tell you what each of them represents. So they'll say that W represents this, PR represents this. They can even use different letters. You get it? So now in writing a supply equation, we have the quantity supplied of X. So let's say quantity supplied of X. You can use any letter, alpha or beta. The first one use alpha, so you can use beta. So you have beta 0. This is the first one. So beta 0 means that the actual supply, when you hold all these factors constant, you get it. So if the firm assumes that these factors are constant or they are not going to change, the actual quantity he's willing to supply, do you get it? When these factors don't come in, it's what you call the B0. So when you hold all factors constant, then then you start counting B1, then times the first one, which is the price of X, then plus B2, then times the wages, then plus B3 times the PR, which is our price of technologically related goods, then plus our B4 times the last one, which is our H. You get it? So this is what we need to know. So next week, hopefully, we'll look at comparative statics. Then we are going to look at some other things that could affect supply. But you just need to know that when you are drawing the supply equation, you usually get something like this. It goes to the top right, you get it. And if it's coming to the right, it means there's an increase in supply. So here is increase. If this is the actual supply, right, and it's coming to the right, there's an increase. If it's coming to the left, it means there's a decrease. So to the left is always a decrease, to the right is an increase. So yeah, I think these are the most important things you need to know. Hopefully we'll solve more questions on it, and probably I'll solve more questions on TikTok too. You get it? In case I see any trial questions or any past questions as well. You get it? So I think yes, we are going to end here for today. Hopefully next week we are going to continue with demand and supply analysis, where we'll look at producer surplus, consumer surplus, comparative statistics, and all that. So if you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. And I'll see you in the next video.